Hey guys, Mechanite here, and I'm not sure if you saw my short on this, but this month I've been doing a monthly drawing challenge, where every day of the month I draw a new Gigantamax Pokemon. I did this last year as well, and it's Kaijun. These are not Kaijun. I keep thinking of that because it's kind of inspired by it. I mean, Gigantamax Pokemon are giant forms of Pokemon. Kaiju are giant things. Honestly, if I named this Kaiju, no one would second guess it. And I am thinking of maybe doing that drawing challenge in the future as well, along with other drawing challenges. So if you like that idea, remember to subscribe. So let's get into Junormous 2024. Now, all of these were randomly generated Pokemon, can I just say? So some of them won't really fit in the Gigantamax forms. Other Pokemon will probably fit better. But I had to work with what I was given, and I think that makes the challenge just even better. So, for day 1, we had Blossom. Now, it's said that this Gigantamax form spreads exotic wildlife around it. Now, this is actually similar to Vileplume, which is this split evolution. So I think it's nice to kind of tie the family together, as Vileplume is kind of an exotic plant. And I also like how it turned the leaves into enormous trees. And the flowers could be the poison that Vileplume uses for this Pokemon. Now, as you know, last year it was for a Pokemon region that I've ended up scrapping. And in that Pokemon region, Gigantamax was the theme. However, they would change types like Mega Evolutions. Because these are no longer intended for that game, I'm not going to change the types, so you don't need to worry about the types for these. Next up on day 2, I was really excited for this one. This is Gigantamax Palossand. Some people say there are entire kingdoms of tiny Pokemon living within the walls of his Gigantamax forms. There have been countless fairy tales and campfire stories about it, though no one's proven it, though we can also not prove that they could be wrong. Some people have claimed that entire regions have been built upon these Pokemon. This Pokemon is a giant castle. People often even create sculptures in the likeness of this Gigantamax form, because it's seen as a symbol for hope and prosperity, and finding shelter, basically, which is what it is. It's a massive castle, and Pokemon scientists have said that the only possible way people could be right, saying that a bunch of tiny Pokemon live in them, is if those Pokemon are basically microscopic. However, having microscopic Pokemon could actually be pretty cool. So, write that down, Game Freak, that's all I'm saying. Next up, for day 3, we had Gigantamax Staraptor. Now, I'm not too happy with how this one turned out. Probably my least favourite from the first week, because to me it just doesn't look like Staraptor. It's just, Staraptor's got such a, sharp and just particular style to it. But it was hard to recreate in pixel art. And as many of you know, I've started doing normal art now, along with pixel art. But I'm planning on doing more pixel art. With my What If Past Paradox Pokemon were common ancestors, I got back into it. And there will be a sequel to that video coming out soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But it really got me back into the mood of wanting to do more pixel art. So I decided, I did it last year, I might as well do pixel art again for this challenge. All of the Gigantamax energy formed within this Pokemon's eyes and hair. So these Pokemon can see how a battle will end from the very beginning. But that's actually a problem for these Pokemon, as in these Gigantamax forms, countless Staraptors have been known to become really sad and anxious, because whilst they know how a battle will end, they don't know how to change that outcome. So, whilst it's a strong Gigantamax form, with even stronger abilities, you might not want to keep your Pokemon in it for too long. It's kind of like how with Mega Evolutions, how those had sacrifices, well, not sacrifices, but they had bad parts to your Pokemon. Day 4, we had Crawdaunt. Now this one, I tried to invoke a bunch of deep sea creatures. Obviously whales, because it's just Junormous. I also went with Spinosauruses. In the past, that's what the thing on its back is, the spine. Because those were mostly aquatic, which I find pretty cool. I think that's a nice piece of trivia for people who don't really know, like, dinosaurs that well. Because most people don't know that, but they were mostly aquatic. I also based it off, like, sunken ships. It's probably hard to tell, but I feel like the body shape of it being big up front and shrinking around the bottom kind of looks like a sunken ship, especially with the fake mouth, I guess. The pincers also look like eyes, because I just thought you had to really make this look like it was a deep sea creature. Obviously, I couldn't make it like an actual anglerfish, like just plain black or anything, because I did still want it to look like Crawdaunt, but I wanted it to remind you of, like, you know, some of, like, the alien-looking deep-sea creatures people find nowadays. They look really odd and strange. So this Gigantamax form not only has the power of Gigantamax energy, but also the moonlight, allowing this Pokemon to envelop itself in darkness and send chilling presences through the opponent. So it could work with Ghost, but like I said, I'm not changing the types, and I think Dark still works. And honestly, I think it just works more. I really went into, like, Lovecraftian and, like, just really dark sources of inspiration, which Pokemon actually does a lot. They make some of their Pokemon, like, really scary and inspiration, but Pokemon just has that magic touch where even if a Pokemon scares the life out of you, it could still be your friend. Next up, Day 5, I think. This one might be my favourite, and I don't think anything else in the challenge could surpass it. But we'll see, we're only on week 1. This is Gigantamax Bellibolt. The sheer strength of this Gigantamax form is only outdone by the confusion it causes by creating electric eyes to watch the opponent. I am now realising, whilst recording this, I forgot to have the Gigantamax swirls on this Pokemon. But I feel like that doesn't really matter. I probably wouldn't do anything special with them, just put it on top of the head. So, just imagine there's floating on top of the head, the Gigantamax Cloud Swirl. Now, this one I really like, because I like how Bellibolt is just such a round boy, if you know what I mean. So I decided to make this one, like, really heavy and, like, squashed onto the ground, but still friend-shaped, if you know what I mean. It's still got the fake eyes on, but now it's a bit easier to tell what the regular eyes are. And it's also got two sets of arms, kind of, where it's got 2 on its body and 2 on its electric ones on its back. However, it can only control 1 at a time. This Pokemon, just almost everything is duplicated. I also really like how I rendered the lightning with this one. Maybe not on the arms and eyes, because that's just pure yellow, which I also think works pretty well, but the way I just had small glints of the lighter ones in the stomach, I think that's really cool. Lots of these Gigantamax Pokemon, I try to go more realistic, but sometimes it's just okay to step back and make a chunky frog. This it's more obvious that what the eyes are than on the original, but I still think it's cool, because when I added it before, it didn't look like eyes at all, it just looked like nostrils, which it still does, but at least now you can pass it off as fake eyes without people being too confused. Right, for day 6, Gigantamax Revavroom. Through Gigantamax energy, this Pokemon has the ability to go around at such speeds it breaks the sound barrier and will be the only sound you hear. Now, I really like this one. I was honestly inspired by the new Fortnite season. I've been thinking of making some Fortnite videos. If you want to see that, then obviously tell me in the comments. But I ain't really started work on it yet, because obviously I don't know if people are if that's what the viewers want or not. So if you do want it, do tell me. But I was inspired with a new Wasteland season to sort of make this Pokemon a Wasteland vehicle. Now, as you can see, the top of its mouth has gotten a lot more crazy, but I also tried to add a lot more poison into the design, because Steel Poison is such a cool type combo. Probably the type combo that before Generation 9 I was most excited and most wanted to come. And I thought, there's lots of steel elements in Riverroom, I might as well just make it more poison so we can balance it out a bit. Honestly, I actually do really like this one, and I think it's probably the best. But Bellybolt's still my favourite because it's just such a fun little guy. Right, and then for day 7, you might have noticed that on the prompt list of all the randomised Pokemon, every week on day 7, there's a broader term. So you can choose, anyone who's doing this challenge, you can choose what you're going to do. So on day 7, the first one was mythical. I decided to go with Gigantamax Hooper. I thought Hooper already had the Unbound form, but I thought his regular form was really cool and I thought it could work really well. This Pokemon can open portals to Ultra Space and mind control the Pokemon that come out of its hoops. That sort of already works, because later on in the challenge, I think maybe day 21 or 14, I'm pretty sure day 21 though, the prompt is Ultra Beast. So I think maybe I could tie in the lore with this one I've already started thinking. But this Pokemon possesses infinite amounts of energy within its hoops. So these hoops are basically portals to Ultra Space. And this Pokemon controls Ultra Space, but out of its portals. So whilst it says this Pokemon has infinite amount of energy within its hoops, it doesn't know how to extract it from its hoops. So it's kind of not very useful unless he is using it as a portal. But you can also send like meteors hurling through and that. I think that would be really cool. I think if this was in a game, then it would be a cool boss fight. Because I think this would really be cool as a boss. I tried to go, like, I know Pokemon uses the term mythical, it's sort of just like a rare Pokemon that's obviously very powerful. But I'd say more mythicals are just rare, rather than like extremely elusive, rather than extremely powerful. This one, I was trying to go for that, like, Arceus levels of mythical, if you know what I mean.